Namaskar Internet, welcome to my channel. I'm Vipin Mishra. I make music for a living and I ride motorcycles for fun. This is a vlog in which I'm going to talk you through everything you possibly need to know about planning your trip to the Zanskar Valley. And you must plan that ride this year or latest next year. And I'll tell you why. I went to Shinko Pass back in 2019. It was 35 to 40 kilometers of pure off-road. I went back in 2022 June and we had just about 8 to 10 kilometers of off-road left, right towards the top of the Shinko Pass. So if you want to do this trip and if you like off-roads and if you like adventure like I do, then I'm saying that you've got just about 2 years to enjoy this before the road gets completed. Okay, now I'm running short of time because we've done something very interesting on this particular ride. We've gone ahead and filmed it nice and proper, and the idea is not just to ride but to use the ride as a way of exploring the area and its local folk music. And we got lucky and we've gotten to record with some very interesting sounds and musicians from that area. I'm working on that. I'm not sure whether it'll be a multi-part series or a documentary, but yeah, that's what's keeping me busy. Anyways, without wasting any more time, let's get down to it. Everything that you need to know to plan your own trip to the Zanskar Valley. First of all, I think you've got to have a bike that is in good shape. Okay, that is very important. This is because unlike all other parts of Ladakh, Zanskar I think is the most desolate, and अगर बाय चांस आपकी बाइक का किसी भी तरह से कुछ ब्रेक डाउन हो गया, मैकेनिक या रिपेयर शॉप कहीं पे भी नहीं है. I mean, Darcha is the last place where you will probably get some sort of shops in civilization, then nothing right up to Padum. So the first thing is make sure that your bike is in good shape. Okay, if it's got any parts that need replacing, if the pads are wearing down, if your clutch seems to be worn out, if the cables are aging, whatever it might be, get your bike in good shape if you want to enjoy this ride. Point number 2 that you need for preparedness: make sure that your tires are in good shape. Unlike a lot of other parts of Ladakh, the off-roads in Zanskar are very rocky, and a lot of the area is covered with this slate-like rocks. Okay, so the slate-like rocks are thin and sharp, and if you are on tires that have already done 5,000-7,000 kilometers, or on tires which are soft compound, okay, you are going to be in trouble by way of getting punctures. And you don't want to be getting multiple punctures if you're running tubeless. And if you're running tube tires like I do on my Africa Twin, she is now 5 years old, 2017, I don't even want one puncture ideally. And luckily for us in this trip, we were 3 of us, Sattu, Abhay and I, and all of us were riding on brand new Mitas EO 7 50/50 tires. Now this is a hard compound tire, it's a grade 50/50 tire, and we got scot-free. We were fine, we did not have any punctures, and that's what you want, no punctures. So get your tires in good shape. If you're in Bombay, I will leave you the link to where I get my tires from. It's called, I'm forgetting the name, I'll leave the link. Good chap, good tires, good prices. Okay, number 3 is that you need to have wind/waterproof gear. You need to start with gloves which will protect you from the cold wind and breeze, especially when you do early morning starts. I wear the held gloves which I got from Lazy Ass Bikers, and they've got these 2 compartments in it. One of the compartments has a nice mesh and the other one is completely wind and waterproof. I will leave that link and probably do a review for you on the next vlog. A wind and waterproof jacket and pants ideally is great. I got my waterproof rain jacket from again from Lazy Ass Bikers, but it's Rhinox It's the first time I'm trying out an Indian brand, and I've got to tell you, I'm very, very pleased and impressed with the functionality and the quality. So that is the third thing that you need to be prepared with. Okay, wind and waterproof gear. Also remember, when you're riding up to high passes or when you're staying in these high altitude areas, the wind can get very troublesome, beyond a point, and the wind chill factor really picks up. That is when these jackets come really handy. So get yourself one. Fourth is, you've got to be prepared to deal with the altitude. All of these areas are high altitude areas with lack of vegetation. Okay, so this is something which I cannot emphasize enough. If you want to enjoy your ride, you have to not be a zombie, and for that you need to be prepared to deal with the altitude. There are two ways to deal with it. One obviously is acclimatization. The route that I'm going to suggest to you will sort of help you into acclimatize to the high altitude, so that you don't really suffer because of the altitude. The second thing that you can do, which is what I recommend, is to start on Diamox. Now, I'm not a doctor, so don't take this advice as medical advice, all right? But that's what I do. 250 mg of Diamox. You start it a night before you are entering into high altitude areas. I mean, I would start it probably on the first night of my ride, and I will have it for maybe 3 or 4 days. My body tells me once it's well acclimatized, and I stop having the Diamox. 250 mg, half a tablet morning, half a tablet evening is all you need. The only side effects of Diamox is that it is also a diuretic, which basically means that you pee a lot. Okay, so that is the one side effect. Some people also get mild tingling in the fingertips and the toes. Okay, but there are no other side effects. It is not habit forming. It's safe that way. For acclimatization, the other thing that you need to be very, very aware of is that you must have plenty of fluids. Okay, also add electrolytes to your water. I usually put some electrolytes right in my hydration pack, as do my friends. So do that. Stay well hydrated, replenish on the salts and the minerals through electrolytes. Yeah, and stay away from alcohol. All right, now I know it's a biking trip and the boys are together and you're going to have a lot of fun. Maybe all the girls are together and they want to have a lot of fun. Doesn't matter. But alcohol and acclimatization don't go well together. Now, I'm telling you what is good for you. I'm not saying that I completely follow that advice, okay? But I listen to my body. If I'm up for a drink, I have it. If I'm not, I stay away from it. Okay, so let's get down to the route. The route that I'm going to suggest is going to be a little different than what most people do. But that is because I want you to acclimatize well, and I want you to spend your evenings in nice places and not in crappy places. Let's assume your journey starts at Chandigarh like most other people. I would first of all recommend that when you fly into Chandigarh, ride out the same day. Okay, there's no point in spending a night in Chandigarh. Okay, I see no reason to do that. What I do is, if the bike is being put on the train, I take a morning flight to Chandigarh, and thereafter simply take a cab to the railway station. I've already called the agent to be ready with the bike. I go to the station, we unload the bike, we unpack the bike, I change into my gear at the station itself, and I'm out of there. If you've sent it by transport, road transport, even better, because you can simply ride down to wherever the bike is stored, change at the premises, and off you go. Now, when you do that, you'll ideally be starting from Chandigarh anywhere between 12:30 to 2:30. I would then recommend that your day one will be from Chandigarh, and it'll be warm. You don't want to be exposing yourself to all of that for too long. So stop at Sundernagar. Sundernagar is a beautiful small town at the foothills, and it is about 175 kilometers from Chandigarh. Okay, so that makes it a very reasonable ride, You should get there early evening. The place that I suggest you must go to in Sundernagar is a place called Suket Cafe. Suket Cafe is this absolutely wonderful cafe set up by this wonderful gentleman called Vishnu.
Hey Vishnu.
Hi,
How are you? Vipin, man.
I know.
How are you doing?
Big fan, man.
Thank
I
you.
heard you cut your hair.
Yes.
I kept telling him that, I follow this guy. He has an Africa twin and he's got long hair. He said, no, not anymore.
Yes. The hair went a couple of years back.
Okay.
Vishnu is a local from Sundernagar, and he himself is a motorcycle enthusiast. Okay, and it is absolutely surreal, beautifully surreal when you visit the cafe, because it's been set up so beautifully. It's got lovely wooden furniture. It's got a lovely view of the valley, and the food is just too good. I mean, we had the ham and cheese sandwich, we had iced lemon tea, we had a specific drink that Vishnu recommended to rehydrate. It was mint and lemon, and it was just gorgeous. The coffee is outstanding. I mean, I'm a coffee guy, okay, and it was just unbelievable to get that kind of coffee at Sundernagar.
The beginning of a ride with a coffee like this, I don't think it gets better than that.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Maybe today, and then
That's it.
that's it.
They also have a few rooms, limited availability. You can ask him in case there is availability. You can even stay at Suket Cafe. If not, you must eat there. Also, Sundernagar is famous for its fish, okay, and Vishnu gave us this fried fish. It's sort of a it's not a trout, but it's something which is similar to that, one single bone, beautiful fish, really tasty.
Locally, we call it milky cod.
Okay.
But that's nothing on YouTube saying, Google saying milky cod. I don't know what you call it.
Okay, so that's your day one. Day two, if you head out from Sundernagar, I would say you have a late breakfast or early lunch, if you may, at Manali, and then you carry on using the Atal tunnel, right, to come out and in the Lahore region. So the good news is that now there is another petrol pump at Kelong, just short of Kelong. That is where you will refuel your bike, because your next fuel availability for your Zanskar ride is only at Padum. This is also a ride in which you do not need to carry any additional fuel on you. If you really look at it, the distance from the petrol pump at Kelong to Padum should be 160-170 kilometers at best in all. So I think most bikes will be just fine with filling up their tank at that petrol pump. Another tip, when you are going further and passing, the highway passes through this narrow sort of main Kelong market. Your landmark is a place called Yarkid. Now, Yarkid is a economical night halt option. It is on the main road, but the backside has a good view of the valley. It's very basic, and it's run by another dear friend called Paul. I think he's given it out on lease now, but it's a good place. Anyways, what I was getting at was that diagonally opposite Yarkid is a place which serves the best mutton momos in the region. Okay, so I mean, if you like me, if you like momos, like I love momos, I'm a momo lover. That sounds a little off, but yeah, so if you like good momos, then that place in Kelong is where you should have momos. You can move on further to Jispa, another 13 to 15 kilometers. You're at Jispa. My recommendation for a place to stay at Jispa would be Padma Lodge. There are lots of options, so go find your own thing. Jispa is a good place for you to end day 2. Now, the ride from Chandigarh to Sundernagar on day 1 should be about 175 kilometers. The ride from Sundernagar to Manali is about 135-140 kilometers, and the ride from Manali to Jispa in the current situation is about 65-70 kilometers through the tunnel. So 200-210 kilometers is what you'll do on day 2. It will be mostly tarmac. You will have a very reasonable day, I would say, not too short, not too long. And Jispa at about, roughly 9,000 feet, maybe even 9,500 feet, is a great place for you to acclimatize on your day 2. Day 3, you ride out early from Jispa. I would say try and hit the road at 7 a.m., right? That's not an unreasonable time. When you ride out from Jispa, you will come down to Darcha. That's just about 9 kilometers. You will enter your vehicle details there and then carry on along the Leh highway. And about 5-7 kilometers from Darcha, you will see a big board saying Shinkola is straight, and for Leh and Sarchu and Pang and all of that, you have to take a sharp U-turn to the right. So we are going to Zanskar, right? You take that road, Shinkola, the pass should be about 35, 37 kilometers, 40 kilometers from that point, okay? Most of it now is tarmac, like I told you. It's a nice easy ride, and only the last 8 kilometers or that much is where you'll get some good interesting off-roads, right? So enjoy those.
Shinko all right. Snow. Not the best of weather, but still gorgeous.
And when you get to the pass, take your time, take your pictures, but don't spend too much time at 16,500 feet. You don't want too much exposure to altitude. 16.5 is reasonably high, okay? So then you start descending down from Shinkola. Shinkola, the descent is, well, if the weather is bad and if it's been raining, then it gets a little slushy. But again, I don't think it is anything which is nothing to worry about as a rider. Now, this is another thing that I'd like to clarify, that I'm here to encourage you to make that plan to go to Zanskar this year or maybe the next year. I'm not here to scare you, and that is the fact of the matter, that anybody who is in decent shape and whose bike is in decent shape can ride the Zanskar Valley. Unlike a lot of other moto vloggers who try to portray everything that they do is absolutely superhuman and that everything that they do is super challenging, well, I am not one of those. I would tell you that Zanskar is something that everybody and anybody can do. Just be prepared for it. Really as simple as that. Coming down from Shinkola, you lose a good 2,000 feet or more at the base of the valley.
But yeah, I think we're doing fine. We're managing very well. This is what the base of the pass will look like. We've come down almost 3,000 feet. And that is the road that comes down all the way.
About 6-8 odd kilometers later, you will come to a dhaba. Now this is the first option that you'll have of getting chai, Maggi, Rajma Chawal, and this place also has an option of staying, right? In the sense that there are no rooms or anything like that, but you could stay here for the night if you wish to. This is also one of the reasons why I always recommend carry your sleeping bag with you. What that does is that if you're stopping in places like these, which might or might not have the warmies, and even if they do, they might or might not be clean and good to use, you can just slip into your sleeping bag and be comfortable for the night. So I always recommend keep a sleeping bag with you on trips such as this. Even if the bedding is not clean, you can use it. I would not recommend that you stay here though. If you move on, there is a smallish stream crossing, no big deal. I mean, your definition and mine might differ, but yeah, nothing serious. You will maybe at about another 10-12 kilometers you will come across a camp. Now that camp is definitely there for this season. We've just come back, so it seemed like a place which had multiple tents, and I'm sure you can find some accommodation there. It's a good spot to spend the night. Again, remember, you are at about 14,000 feet in this region, so this night that you spend at this height might be a little rough, in the sense that you might be feeling the altitude, but you just got to give it time and you will be okay. If you don't want to stay at this camp, 5-7 kilometers further is Kurgyiak. Now Kurgyiak is a proper village. By proper I mean it has probably 15-20 houses, and from the looks of it, you will definitely find somewhere or the other in terms of a homestay. There is also a police checkpoint there where you need to enter your vehicle details. We guys were traveling in a different way. We guys did moto camping this time, and I think I've never had more fun on a motorcycle trip, because camping just adds a whole new dimension to the whole thing, I'll be honest with you. And you can stop wherever you wish to. You can be completely flexible in your plans. As long as there is good potable water, you can camp. More about that in the next video. Let's discuss how you can set up moto camping. It could be an assisted moto camping like we did, or it could be self-sufficient for a smaller group. Okay, so let's assume you stopped at one of these 3 places that I just told you, and you had a decent night at 14,000 feet. Okay, so the next day, which basically is day 1 to Sundernagar, day 2 to Jispa, and day 3 is where you are. So day 4 you ride out to Purne. Now Purne is again not too far, and you can enjoy the ride. You can take pictures, you can even take these little detours, little shortcuts that the trail offers. Sometimes there is a village, there's a little bridge over which the bike can cross. Anyways, explore. There's stuff to do, and the ride to Purne is a very fun one. Once you do reach Purne, you have this place which is very, very popular. I think it's the only place there for a while now. It's called Dolma Cafe. Now Dolma Cafe has dormitories where you can stay. Again, if you have a sleeping bag, you'll be better off. They have food on offer, they have loos that you can use, and that is where most people stay. I, however, would recommend something else, spend your nights and evenings in better places. Okay, so just short of the road that goes to Dolma Cafe, there is a right turn which goes uphill. That is the turn that you will take to Phuktal Monastery. Okay, more about Phuktal Monastery soon, but this is the road that you take, and you carry on riding. To your left will be the gorge and the river, and to your right will come a village called Khansar. Now Khansar has this traditional home which they do give out for a homestay, but they have the best campsite I think that we had on the trip, or maybe not, because all of them were so beautiful. But anyways, they have a great campsite, so in case you are camping, Khansar is the place for you.
That's Ashi. That's the camp. That's my tent.
Even if you want to stay over in a room, do check with them, because if they have a place in their home, I think it's much better than the other option, which is Dolma Cafe. Now, I would definitely recommend that you visit the Phuktal Monastery. Okay, this is a monastery which you'll have to ride to a certain point. On that particular day, wear shoes that you can walk in. I think you can take that bit of chance. Just ride safe, but wear trekking shoes or whatever. And from the point that you park your bike, there is a trail that goes down, and it is, I think, a 4.5 to 5 kilometer walk one way. Okay. Yes, it all in all a 9 kilometer or a 9.5 kilometer walk at that altitude with that terrain will take you easy. It should be like a 4-hour trip. Okay. In the sense that you'll walk down and you'll visit the monastery, you'll spend some time on it, but please do it because the walk itself is just very, very nice. You go down to the Sarap river, which is one of the main tributaries of the Zanskar, and the river itself, I mean, the water is beautiful. You know, it's blue, it's clean, it's really nice. The monastery is supposed to be 2,500 years old, the original cave where the monastery started. It's also the place where there is the chortan of one of the lamas or the saints who apparently attained enlightenment within a single lifetime, which as you know, in Buddhism or in any other belief is it's short by any standards. Okay, so must go to Phuktal, and when you come back from Phuktal, if you're very tired, relax, enjoy your day. If not, you can actually ride out to Padum, which is what we did. Purne to Padum should be about 50 odd kilometers. Okay, maybe 60, but that's about it. This is a section which is a little fun and a little tricky, because the moment you cross the bridge from Purne, there is a steep uphill climb with a lot of switchbacks, but the main fun or tricky part is that there is a fair bit of sand in this region. So this particular ride, which starts a little short of Purne, the sandy bit starts, and it carries on a fair bit towards Padum. That's the tricky bit. Okay, the idea here is to keep good momentum. Just keep a constant good momentum so that you are not stalling, and then you are not using your clutch and you end up burning it, because that has happened to a few other riders. They've burned their clutches on that section. So you'll ride up to a plateau, and then there'll be more sandy bits. I have another tip for you now over here. When you are riding, let's say there's a wideish plateau and there are a few tracks that are going which are well used, and so they are very sandy, right? And that gets a little tricky. Most people end up following those tracks. I would say don't do that. Judge for yourself and see the terrain outside of those tracks. It could be just 10 feet to the right or 20 feet to the left, doesn't matter. Now usually outside of these areas is where the sand is hard packed. There is some bit of grass, a little bit of grass on it, and it's much easier to ride out than to be riding on those tracks which have been used over and over again by bikes and cars. Okay, so that's a tip, and you can keep that in mind. Let me know if that helps you.
So for today, the fun ends.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh, mother. Oh, I love Tarmac. If I ever say let's go, so it's just fucking slap. Oh, I think right now. Let's all get a picture kissing the tarmac.
And then you reach Padum, and about the 15 odd kilometers, 12 to 15 kilometers before you reach Padum is when you get this perfect tarmac. So all of a sudden, from all of that hard road, there is a perfect tarmac that comes, and at that point it's actually quite welcome, because you've been off road for quite a bit. Once you reach Padum, my recommendation for the place of stay is a place called Padmalinga.
Padmalinga. आगे से लेफ्ट इधर जाओ वो ऊपर को बगीचा सा दिखाई दे रहा है जी थैंक यू
Padmalinga is again run by my friends. They've sort of learned under him. They're all a bunch of trekkers and people who've done a lot of trekking and have cooked on treks, and so they're pretty good at what they do.
यस दोरजे भाई, हम पद्मालिंगा पे हैं. रूम की अवेलेबिलिटी नहीं है. हम डीलक्स टेंट चेकआउट कर रहे हैं और कैंपिंग का ऑप्शन है. ओवर.
Padmalinga is away from the market. It's at a nice spot. They have rooms where you can stay. They give you food. They also have pre-pitched tents with attached bathrooms which you can use. We picked this option, the pre-pitched tents, because we were sick and tired of pitching our tents every evening and then opening our sleeping bags and packing it and doing the same thing every night. So when we got the opportunity, we took pre-pitched tents.
तो यहाँ पे नहाने का हो जाएगा.
गर्म पानी है.
गर्म पानी देगी सर.
It's alright है.
ठीक है. तो मोटरसाइकिल ले आएंगे पे. मोटरसाइकिल. अरे मजाक कर. मोटरसाइकिल भारी रहेगा फिर. आप बाहर आपका क्या सामान है उसमें? हाँ. सामान ऐसे करके निकाल के. नहीं सामान नहीं निकालना. इन छेद क्या लगेगा आपको? 4-5 मान के जाओ. 8 घंटे तो ले पहुँचते हैं ऐसे करके.
2 hours and 15 minutes to get here?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah. And I think I'll look at the Odo. I think it's about 70K.
Padum was a very nice stay. This is also where I got my first serious recording with the folk musicians, but we'll leave that for another video. Padum also is the place where you will refuel. There are 2 petrol pumps in Padum. One of them is on the road that will go towards Kargil, and you can ask anybody and they'll tell you. And there is a second one which is on the road towards Wanla. Both of the sides are proper tarmac roads, and you will find no problem in finding these pumps. Go to the closer one first to make sure that you tank up, because when we were in Padum, the closer pump that we rode to did not have petrol. Okay, so that is a possibility. And luckily for us, we were carrying on towards Zangla, and that pump did have petrol. Also, this is the point where a lot of riders choose not to do the second off-road section and they go towards Kargil. I would recommend you don't do that. If you are here for fun, if you're here for dirt, just keep going. Zangla is a great 30 odd kilometers of tarmac, and after that it's back to off-roads again, and man, that is really a very fun section. Gorgeous views. There's very less traffic. I mean, most people don't do this section. Okay, from Padum you will climb up to what is the Lingshet Pass. It's not really marked, but you will see that at the top of the ridgeline there will be a naturally made gate, and the moment you cross that, you will see this road that splits into 2, and the one on the right goes down into Lingshet. That is a dead end. I mean, that is where the road ends at the village. Lingshet, before you enter this pass, is a lovely climb, lot of switchbacks. So I mean, don't miss that view once you get to the top. Before you get into Lingshet, just stop and have a look at all the lovely twisties that you've done. It's a good view from there. Lingshet is one of the prettiest villages that I have seen in Ladakh. Okay, so please don't miss going to Lingshet. However, Lingshet has 0 facilities for tourists, okay, which basically means that there is not even a chai shop there. No chai shop, no Maggie, absolutely no guest houses, nothing. Okay, but it's a big enough village. We camped, but you can explore the possibility of asking somebody if they'll have a homestay. The chances, I feel, are not very good. Okay, the Lingshet Monastery is a beautiful one. We had the privilege of being able to go there and record with the lamas and film that. Again, I'll keep that for the next video. Let's just stick to the Zanskar trip here. Even if you don't find accommodation on Lingshet, no worries, you come back up and you keep going. And there are 2 more passes that you will do today. The first pass, once you've done, and you come down from the pass, and you will come to, again, it is not a settlement, but there is a Dhaba there, and the place does have a name I'm forgetting at the moment. So anyways, there is a Dhaba probably 25-30 kilometers from the Lingshet split off. Also, when you're riding out further from Lingshet, there will be a point where the road will again split in two. There is a small marking there, and you have to be careful because one of the road is the road that they are yet to complete, which goes to Chilling, right, which follows the Zanskar river. That is not the road that you want to take. So when you sort of come to that curve, it's sort of downhill, and you'll see that the road that is straight says the Zanskar road, which is not what you have to take, and there is a left turn, which it clearly states that is the road to Leh. It states there, and that is the road to Wanla. So you take that road, and you keep going. You have a place to eat, like I already said, and you can actually keep going all the way to Wanla on this particular day, because you will cross some beautiful gorges, but the last 15-20 kilometers before you reach Wanla is tarmacked, so your speed is pretty good. And on this day, if you really ask me, you can stop at Wanla. It's a good place to stop in case you don't want to do a very long ride into the late evening. In case you do want to carry on, or let's say that you carry on the next morning, when you leave Wanla, shortly 5, 7, 10 kilometers, you will come to the main Kargil-Leh highway, and you meet it at a point where you are just 10 kilometers short of this place called Khalse, and from that point you are about 110 kilometers from Leh, which I'm assuming is where you'll be heading towards, right? So when you hit that highway, if you take the right, you are heading towards Khalse, and then later Nimmo, and then later Leh. And if you take a left, you will head to Lamayuru shortly, and then eventually, towards Kargil. And that pretty much is your Zanskar ride, literally, is a matter of speaking. So I feel that I've covered mostly what I could remember. Now, since this is just a impromptu chat and I've not really scripted this, there is a chance that I might have gotten a few things a little here or there, but mostly that is the way I see this ride panning out for you. So just to give you a quick recap, day one you fly down to Chandigarh, you pick up your bike and you ride down to Sundernagar and stay at Suket Cafe. Day 2, you leave Suket Cafe, let's say at 6:30, 6:45. You can leave. In case you want to have a cup of coffee, you'll have to wait because the cafe opens a little later, but I'd say just leave early. Come to Manali, have a late breakfast or a snack or an early lunch, take the Atal tunnel, fuel up at Tandi or Kelong, taste the momos at the Kelong market, and then carry on to Jispa and stay at Padma guest house or any other place of your choice. Day 3, you leave Padma early so that you can be at Shinkola. Shinkola from Padma Cafe is 9 kilometers to Darcha and probably another 45-50 to the top. You come down, have your meal at the Dhaba, and probably stay at the camp. That will be day 3. Day 4, you pass Kurgyiak and you go to Purne, and if you reach really early by lunch, you can probably do the monastery that day. Day 5, you must do the monastery, and probably by early lunch, you have early lunch and then you leave towards Padum. Now, fun section, little tricky. From Padum, day 6, you are now at riding towards Lingshet. You see Lingshet, you have a brief visit there, and you carry on, do Shingela, do Sirserla. There is a Dhaba en route for you to have a meal, and you will pass another village called Hanupatta, where there is also the locals were working towards a homestay. Now, Hanupatta is a good maybe 40 kilometers, 45 kilometers before the road meets the main highway. So that is also an option. Anyways, if the guest house is not there, you carry on. Shortly after Hanupatta, the road becomes better, and the last 15 kilometers is tarmac. You're out at Wanla. You stay at Wanla, and your final day whichever day we are at now, 7 I guess, 6 or 7, you are out to Leh, and you have a good time in Leh, and then you do whatever it is that you wish to do. Okay, so I hope this video was helpful. I'm going to call it a day now. I'm going to get back to editing and sorting out the footage for Folk Road. I mean, I'm super excited about that. We also rode further, and so I'm going to do a vlog on that in some time, maybe a week or so. In the meantime, I hope this was helpful. If I've missed out on anything, feel free to ask me in the comments, and I will try my best to reply. And I will see you in the next one. This is Vipin Mishra saying bye for now. Ride hard, ride safe.